Um, so, Ty, welcome. And first, I just want to say thank you to you, thank you to Amazon for all the support. We don't think we could have pulled this off without all of that support. But with that, of course, comes a responsibility. Your responsibility is to help us understand this space. And in particular, we want to talk about robotics. And it does seem like there's this moment where robotics is sort of really advancing, and we've seen the videos and all this amazing stuff. And I really wanted to ask you how Amazon's approach to this is, because you've got a highly focused goal in very focused environments, which is your warehouse, and it's a really sort of very targeted way of thinking about AI and about robots. And yeah, I'd love for you to sort of just explain what your approach is on this and how it might differ from others.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here. So I'm the chief technologist for robotics at Amazon, and I do think that we are pioneers in the field. Our approach is a very human-centric approach, where we extend human capability. We augment our people with the tool sets that they need in order to do the job more productively, create a more safer environment, and also, while we're doing that, allow for a great customer experience, right? It's a very practical, applied robotics approach that's allowing us to accelerate the technology development, particularly in robotics, that is fueled by AI.
Do you want to give us some examples? I think we were talking in the other room where you said basically when it works really well, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting way of thinking about robotics and AI in general. Can you give us some examples of?
Absolutely. I am definitely a believer that when you do something well, it should be very simple. It should be almost ubiquitous. So a robot to me is the combination of sensing, computing, and actuation in the physical environment, performing a variety of tasks, or maybe even a singular task across this automation, kind of a spectrum of automation. And some of the best robots is your dishwasher. That's an incredible robot. We're not really having any big talks about dishwashers, but it does the job really well. It allows you to get the dishes washed, and it frees you to do higher order things, right? So at home, if you're in your kitchen, it gives you more time to connect with your loved ones. It gives you more time to connect with your family. And if someone's going to do the dishes, if a robot's going to do the dishes, fantastic, right? Or you may have a vacuum cleaner. That's a convenience. That is great. I don't want to spend my time vacuuming the floors. If I can have a robot do that, that's fantastic. Or if there's a pool robot that is going to clean the pool, or if it's an automated lawnmower. Those are all great things, because I will assure you one thing: you will never outrun. If you're like my household, I will not run out of things to do over the weekend, right? And it allows me to do the things that are most important. So at home, it's about connecting with my family, with my loved ones. But in the work environment, I think this is also true. We work hard to develop our machines so that they are extensions of human capability. We really want our robots to enable more productivity for our associates. We want to enable a safer environment, and we've seen a really great trend with that since we've heavily invested in robotics over the last 10 years. And what that does is when you do, actually I should say when you reframe your relationship with machines, that's human-centric, you then gain tremendous productivity, right? You should not have to have an advanced degree in order to use a tool set. You want to give the best tool set to a wide variety of people and allow them to apply them in ways that are very human. We're really exceptional at understanding problems and thinking with common sense and understanding what's the situation, right? We want to augment that. We want to have that as be part of the system where we have machines and people working together, not versus, right?
And part of it is I just wanted to sort of talk to you a little bit about, so how do you think through sort of the broader implications of using AI and humans and robots together? And I think we talked about stacking boxes, and I'd love for you to talk about that.
It's people and machines working together. I'm very, very optimistic about this. I'm very optimistic about AI and the potential that AI has, right? I believe in the goodness of people. I believe that when we give them the right tools, particularly in AI, it allows people to be more intelligent, to be more capable and smarter, right? For example, I'll just give an example. I'll give a personal example. Is my daughter is, she wanted to be a doctor since she was knee-high, and she's studying really hard for that right now. She's doing her graduate degree. And she takes an online prep test for the MCATs, which is right, what you need to do. And what it does is it assesses where she's strong at, and it assesses where she needs help. And then it'll generate a new test for her, and where she needs help, it'll ask her more questions, and where she's strong at, they'll lay off it. What that's doing is that's making her more capable. That's prepping her to be a doctor. I love that example. I also love the example if many of you, I see a lot of smartphones out there, which is great. You're using navigation to get to places. Yep. What's important? I want to get to point A to point B. That's what's important. And you're using a navigation app. There's tons of AI inside of that, right? The point that I'm trying to get across is that when things kind of blend into the background and are helping humanity and are helping people, that's the task that is at hand that we should aid with technology. Technology doesn't hinder. Actually, technology done in the right way actually helps you. And we see that inside of Amazon. We see it's an incredible story inside of Amazon. We've embraced this philosophy. We have the world's largest fleet of industrial mobile robots out there. We have more than 750,
which is an amazing statistic.
750,000 mobile drives out there. We've created hundreds of thousands of new jobs since we've invested heavily in our robotics. We have increased our safety record by 28% in recordable injuries over just the past 4 years.
So just give me an example. So how do robots improve safety?
Yeah, so they need to be aware of their environment, right? And they need to allow people to understand where there are potential hazards, right? So, and the key part is that you do not ask people to adapt to the machine environment. Mm-hmm. The onus is on us to build our machines to adapt to the human environment, right? So if you have to pick up, say, a heavy box, and we know about boxes, we ship a lot of the packages out there.
You do?
For sure.
Many of them come to my house.
What our aim is very clearly is that I want to eliminate the repetitive, the mundane, and the menial. I want to automate all those tasks. Okay, and like a very typical task, which asking for example, is picking up a heavy box here, twisting and putting it over here. We have what we call a Robin, which is a robotic induct station. That's a robotic arm that can pick up a box up to 50 pounds and automatically move that. Why is that? That is a total win, because that person does not have to be subject to the repetitive stress. And secondly, it's moving the box very efficiently, and it's moving a box. Right? I want that person to be able to focus on higher level tasking, which is working. That is working really well in our many fulfillment centers.
Well, of course, as you know, and you've been asked many times, so I'll ask you again. Of course, people worry about not just the freeing up people to do tasks, but the replacement of people by robots on tasks that they previously did. And I know you've thought a lot about this, and maybe you could speak to that.
I have thought quite a bit about that. I'll just give you the one line, which is more robots, more jobs.
Okay.
Right? It's a myth. It is that when you add technology in smart ways, what that does, the myth is that it destroys jobs. But actually, when you're more productive with a tool set, and we have collaborative robots coupled with our amazing frontline employees, okay? So it's robots in a collaborative manner working with our employees, that gains us more productivity. And when you gain more productivity with a customer-obsessed fashion, our job is really simple. We want to have the world's largest selection of goods. We want to pass that along to a low cost, and we want to be the ultimate in customer convenience, right? So we ship a lot of same-day, next-day packages. That's what we do. And we will focus in a very applied way our technology in order to do that job. When you do that right, you gain revenue, and when you have revenue, you have a choice of what to do with that revenue. We invest in people, and we also invest in better robots. And what do better robots mean to us? That means robots that work with people. And when it's collaborative, it's my belief that it's a system of people and machines working together collaboratively. When you do that, that allows you more productivity. When you have more productivity, more revenue, more investment, and we create more jobs. And to be specific about this is, it's not a few jobs. It's not a few jobs. We have created more than 700 job categories alone related to robotics. 700 job categories and hundreds of thousands of new jobs.
Now, not every company perhaps is thinking this way. So like more broadly, how should we as a society, regulation, government be thinking about how to manage this transition better?
Yeah, it's a great question and a reason for a lot of us being here. I think we really need to be mindful of the regulatory environment, right? There's a balance. I flew down here from Boston, came down to DC, and I'm on the airplane, and there's a side of me which is like, I'm thankful that aviation is regulated, right? I'm on this tube with a whole bunch of people, and we're flying to Boston. We're flying over dense populations. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That totally makes sense. And where we have existing regulatory bodies, whether it's in aviation or it's in healthcare or agriculture or transportation, that makes a lot of sense, for sure. But when where I was sitting, this may be a shocker, but where I was sitting, I'm looking out over the wing. And can you imagine if we were to regulate the wing, regulate the size, the material of the wing, the shape of the wing? Like, that would be terrible because it would not allow the innovators to innovate. And if we would have regulated that 20, 30, 40 years ago about this is the maximum size of the wing or what the material should be made out of, aviation would not be where it is today, right? You have to allow the freedom for innovators to operate in order to understand first what the field is, how you can help it, and then solve some of these great problems, right? So I definitely believe it's kind of a sector-based approach, whether what sector that you're in, and also a risk-based approach. It's case by case. There's no one-size-fits-all on the regulatory environment, but I'm definitely passionate that again, kind of going back to the beginning, how hopeful I am with people. We have amazing staff. I work with amazing women. I work with some amazing men that are doing pioneering work in engineering, in robotics, that are good, heartfelt people. Right? They're making a huge difference. I believe in them. And when we give them a technology, and I believe in our frontline employees, when we give them technology that works for them, I know that we can solve just about any problem.
How do we get that word out to more people to think about it this way?
Please do.
Let me. You bring a very interesting view of robotics to the table. Again, most of us get mesmerized by all the gee whiz stuff that comes up. I mean, tell me, what do you look forward to? What are the things that really excite you that are just over the horizon that you think will come and will be transformative that perhaps, with those of us who are not in the industry, don't really have a good sense of, what to look for as a really new, interesting, fresh?
Yeah, well, I will say that AI is the most transformative technology that has ever occurred in my lifetime. And I know all of you are saying, like, well, big deal, because he looks so young up there. I get it. I get that.
In the last 25 years, my God.
Right. Oh, what? 5 years? Couldn't be. I do believe that, though. And the way that I am thinking about it is the fundamentals of robotics and the fundamentals of AI, we're still learning. We're still learning. We're doing what I call foundational capabilities, the basics of movement, manipulation, identification, sortation, and storage. Those are basics. How to move things from one side of the room to the other, how to identify objects, how to make sure that we don't have damage detection. And we have machine learning systems involved through the entirety of our fulfillment chain, all the way from our supplier, making sure that we're getting the right goods on time, that we can identify them, to the massive fleet of robots that we have inside our fulfillment centers, using machine learning, using advanced AI techniques to move and store and sort those goods all the way to the customer's door. We're still mastering those fundamentals. And that actually gives me a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope with that. Because I believe that when we master these fundamentals or these primitives of robotics, that we can then put them together in very interesting ways besides fulfillment, all the way inside of Amazon for sure, but also for society at large, right? the ability for us to be more human, the ability for us to be more intelligent by leveraging our machines with the benefit of some really smart, caring, capable inventors and innovators, that's the future for me.
Well, thank you. I mean, right now, frankly, I just like the ability to talk to my Roomba. My partner does, and I have to keep reminding her, it's not voice, it's not voice activated. Maybe you should just tie your Alexa to my Roomba, and then we'd
Seems like a great idea.
Anyway, thank you very much for
pleasure.
coming in.
Really my
thank
pleasure.
You.
Thank you.